Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask you to please rise to honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Please welcome Hope College sophomore Mr. Bryce Robinson and Mr. Darren Deistermars.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the DeVos Fieldhouse here at the campus of Hope College for game number 1 of the Hope College Post-Exam Jam. Tonight's featured teams are the Saints of Thomas More and the Yellow Jackets of Baldwin Wallace. Here are tonight's starting lineups. First for Thomas More at 1 forward, a 6-foot senior from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 24, Madison Temple. And at 1 forward for Baldwin Wallace, a 5'9" junior from Copley, Ohio, number 13, Kara Marshall. At 1 forward for Thomas More, a 6-foot junior from Melbourne, Kentucky, number 31, Emily Schultz. And at 1 forward for Baldwin Wallace, a 5'11" sophomore from Chardon, Ohio, number 24, Sydney Erich. Starting at center for Thomas More, a 6'2" senior from Milan, Indiana, number 23, Shelby Rupp. And at center for Baldwin Wallace, a 6-foot senior from Lewis Center, Ohio, number 22, Rachel Wammeldorf. At 1 guard for Thomas More, a 5'8" junior from Florence, Kentucky, number 20, Kayla Sainer. And at 1 guard for Baldwin Wallace, a 5'4" junior from Springboro, Ohio, number 4, Casey Hughes. And at the final guard spot for Thomas More, a 5'10" sophomore from Maysville, Kentucky, number 22, Brianna McNutt. And at the final guard spot for Baldwin Wallace, a 5'6" junior from Sheffield Village, Ohio, number 12, Riley Schill. Thomas More is coached by Jeff Hotz. Baldwin Wallace is coached by Sherry Hare. Your officials this evening, Miss Lindsay Van Dyken, Miss Megan Joseph, and Mr. Brad Estermeyers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
That was
Appreciate that.
beautiful and a beautiful sound to
Thank
be
you.
heard
Yeah.
as we get set for this game, the first game of the post-exam jam at DeVos Fieldhouse featuring Baldwin Wallace and Thomas More. Both teams coming in unbeaten. Thomas More sitting at 11-0 overall. Baldwin Wallace sitting in at 8-0 overall as we get set for tip. On the tip goes Baldwin Wallace. Pass goes wide.
I'm really excited to see the skill of both of these teams, both undefeated, but Thomas More with a little bit more game experience at 11-0. Let's get this game on the go.
Kara Marshall's pass kicked out. Casey Hughes pass, top of the key.
Excellent shot.
And Rachel Waldemar, the senior from Lewis Center, Ohio, gets first points of the game, 2-0, early lead from Baldwin Wallace. Thomas More coming in, a contender, looking to stay unbeaten. Shot from beyond the arc is up and good. Number 20, Kayla Sainer, the junior guard from Florence, Kentucky. Bryce, what do you think is a key for both of these teams? Really, both of them coming in unbeaten if they want to continue, if they want to stay unbeaten.
You know, maintaining both balance of good offense and good defense. One thing that can really hurt a team's offensive drives is a really good defense. So it's important for both of these teams to establish a stone wall, but also try to break through that.
So it's saying defense wins championships. It's going to be the key as we get going. Number 24.
What a pass.
Madison Temple lays it off the glass and in. 5-2 the Thomas More lead. Nice swing pass underneath. Goes back to the top of the key for Baldwin Wallace. 8 minutes and change remaining in their first quarter. Early action here at DeVos Fieldhouse. The first game of post-exam jam. And Sydney Dietrich's pass, or three-point attempt, that is no good. Thomas More retains possession.
Yeah, it seems both teams really does have the size and the speed in this game, but what's really going to set it off is kind of the willpower, the source of athleticism from both of these teams is really going to have to come out to see a clear victor.
And Dietrich's shot, no good. Trouble finding the bottom of the net, 5-2. Thomas More. This is the first game, as mentioned. The second game coming up at 7 p.m. The Hope College undefeated Flying Dutch face off against winless Finlandia, but crazier things have happened. Any team can be any other team on any given day. Hope looking to stay unbeaten.
I agree. It's really important to never underestimate the opposing team, but we'll see if the Hope College women can really take this out.
And as the shot clock hits double zeros, Baldwin Wallace gets a nice alternate possession jump ball there.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of contact at the end of that one. Always glad to see that teams are willing to put a little bit more grit into the game.
Yeah, and we're going to get no foul call. A little confusion among the officials here. And we're being told there's 1 second remaining on the shot clock. So Thomas More's going to have a quick catch and shoot here.
Of course. Yeah, we will see if they'll be able to pull this off, but looking at the position, it will be very hurried.
Temple, the senior guard, going to inbound here. Quick catch and shoot. And the attempt in and out, no good. It's good play design, and Thomas More regains possession. Those second chance points are going to be huge.
Excellent.
Down the stretch, especially for two contenders.
Well, the contesting with Kara Marshall setting up that scramble for the ball.
That's great hustle by both teams.
Kara Marshall, the junior from Coakley, Ohio, from Archbishop Hoban High School.
And it is foul against number 12, Riley Skill, the junior guard from Sheffield Village. The team's first, so Thomas More will regain possession.
The game is pretty clean so far, even with skillful opponents, fighting for possession of the ball and fighting to score. So
yeah, we only have one whistle so far early on. A nice drive towards the middle of the lane, gets it.
Oh wow, really
up and go. Yeah, Temple really showing her seniority there on the team. That senior leadership, not afraid to drive to the hole and get some buckets for her team. 7-2, Thomas More lead. Pass goes underneath, intercepted by Temple. She's doing it all offensively.
Oh, wow.
And
does everything.
And Bryce, as you mentioned, Thomas More coming with a few more games underneath her belt.
And, you know, that might be important, especially in this competition against Baldwin.
That experience showing early on. We'll get 2 subs into the game. Number 12 for Thomas Moore, Kelly Clapper, excuse me. And number 11, Gabby Garrett, the sophomore guard from Columbus, Ohio.
And number 3,
She's an Ohio State fan, getting left out of the playoff.
Oh, unfortunate.
Maybe you feel good as a Northwestern fan.
Yeah, you know, I have a weird experience with Ohio. You know, I was raised a Michigan fan, and then, you know, I wrestled all 4 years in high school, and we went to a tournament in Temperance, Bedford.
Okay.
By far, Ohio. I know why there's so many astronauts from Ohio, because they just want to leave the Earth after experiencing Ohio. That three-pointer coming in for...
And number 3, Mackenzie Matthews, the senior guard, drains it from 3. Take you back to action at DeVos. 7-5, the Thomas More lead.
My apologies for any viewers in Ohio. I love you guys. I love Ohio. Just poking a little bit of fun.
Temple with a nice kick-out pass beyond the arc. Shot is up and no good.
A little bit of contact in the scramble for the ball. Body's hitting the floor. We'll see if there's a foul call on that from
Baldwin Wallace fouls on number 21,
Mary Shentor, the junior guard, her first team second. So like you said, pretty clean game. Wilson's starting to add up a little bit here. 5 minutes and change remaining in the first quarter. And Bryce, what have you seen from really both teams early on?
I really do see Thomas More kind of pulling away with the game, but I don't think Baldwin Wallace will go down without a fight. Of course, we still have a lot of basketball left to play, but both teams are looking very skillful, and we'll have to see how this pans out.
Astute analysis from the always insightful Mr. Bryce Robinson, the talented singer, too. The one-man show, he does it all. Thomas More with possession. Pass goes underneath the drive, and we'll get a foul. On the floor, it'll inbound underneath. And the foul is going to be on number 35, Megan Scheibelhut, the freshman forward. 6'2" forward from Avon Lake, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Inbound pass goes Tempo. Quick pass to the outside. And they swing the ball to the top. And number 13, Asaya Mitchell, gets the three-point attempt to fall through. 10-5, Thomas More lead. Three-point attempt rims out. Temple up the far side of the floor. Kick-out pass to the corner. Nice drive inside. Bucket is no good.
Long pass to Mary Shetner, and it's up for 3.
Nice, no decision there, just stop and pop. 8-10, 2-point lead. Both teams, I feel like finding the momentum here, finding really who they are as a team, and playing well so far. And the foul goes on. Number 3, Mackenzie Matthews.
Yeah, both of these
team's fourth.
Both of these teams do have the skill, and I noticed, you know, being in the control room for most of Hope's games, both teams have to establish an identity in their own games.
Temple on the line, and the first one falls through. So Temple, the leading scorer with 5 points so far, and number 23, Shelby Rupp, the senior forward for Thomas More, enters into the game. As I mentioned before, Thomas More sits at 11-0 overall, and Baldwin Wallace sits at 8-0, a matchup of the top 20 teams in the country.
And I can see why they're top ranked. You know, it takes a special group of athletes to make a team, you know, undefeated in their season. So I really want to commend both of these teams. Unfortunately, one team today will be losing, ruining their win streak.
Pass goes wide, and they swing along the top of the key. Nice ball fake.
Mackenzie Matthews with the ball again. Passing to Mary Shetner once more.
And we're going to get a stepped out of bounds is the call. So the ball will go Thomas More. Temple inbounds to number 1, Michaela Ware, the senior guard from Newport, Kentucky. Temple, top of the key. Nice little crossover move. Stop and pop. Pass is intercepted.
It's a play from Megan Schilbutt. Very tall athlete, I would say.
Nice pass goes inside, and we'll get a whistle.
I believe that's going to be a reach on Thomas Moore.
And that's going to be a foul on number 1, Michaela Ware. So that's the first team foul for Thomas Moore early on. Shows how disciplined they are as defenders.
Really unexpected.
Yeah, playing the ball versus reaching in, drawing contact.
Yeah, very unexpected for the games I've seen, even 3 minutes into the first quarter. Well, 3 minutes left. I correct myself. Sorry about that.
So Matthews inbounds, but stolen by Temple. Temple drives and lays it up off of the glass for 2. Goes coast to coast.
Very skillful penetration of the defense there. Being able to weave through individuals. You have to have the footwork and the coordination. Scramble on the court.
We're going to get a jump ball.
That was a good call of a jump ball. I didn't see like anyone really had true possession of the ball. So,
and the ball will go Baldwin Wallace way. The Yellow Jackets. Head coach Cherry Hard, the 29th season. So veteran leadership at the helm for Baldwin Wallace. Testament to the undefeated program they've had so far. Good defense by Thomas Moore, trapped on the top of the key.
You know, you mentioned the veteran coaching, and that's another big factor that goes into a successful program. So,
and we'll get a foul on, I believe, number 12.
Thomas Moore fouls on number 12.
Yep, number 12. Kelly Clapper, the senior guard. It's the first team second of the quarter. So as she heads to the charity stripe, Bryce, we got a game coming up this evening, as mentioned before. Undefeated Dutch taking on Finlandia. What do you think Finlandia is going to need to do to be successful in that game?
You know, Finlandia, I personally, don't think they have a great chance of beating the Dutch. But they're, every game's an opportunity for learning. So as I mentioned, with many teams, it's important to establish an identity. Of course, things differ between game to game, but it's important to establish, your offense and your defense, and really have leaders on the team that can show off your style of play. And so I think this is, this will be a learning experience for Finlandia, and it's not a mistake unless you learn, unless you don't learn from it. So, interesting game coming up, though.
Inspirational quotes from the one and only Bryce Robinson as the errant pass sails out of bounds. The ball goes Thomas Moore.
Great catch by the bench there.
Fans, make sure to download the Athletics Front Row app. Get your latest sports scores and everything you need to know. The Hope Athletics Front Row app. Download it today. For more information, go to www.hope.edu/athletics/front row. Bryce, you should get the app. It's a great app. It's a free app. Download it. You get all the Hope sports information.
Excellent. Yeah, it sounds very useful. I'm definitely thinking about putting that on my phone.
Can't go without it. Stop and pop shot is good from number 12, Kelly Clapper. 16-18 lead now.
Baldwin Wallace is really going to need to get points off of this offensive session. So, a missed pass out of bounds on Baldwin Wallace.
Kind of seeing some sloppy play right now on the Baldwin Wallace offensive side. I don't know if they haven't found their footing yet or what it is, but you got to take care of the basketball. It's rule number 1. As other sports like football, take care of the ball, right? Take care of the ball in basketball. Eliminate the turnovers. A team can crush you in points off of turnovers. So,
putting the ball on the turf, or in this case on the court, can change the tide of the game. It can really ruin your offensive drive. I think Baldwin Wallace was really just kind of rushed. They felt the pressure to score on that drive, so I think they lost their composure a little bit. But there's always room to make up. Bouncing around, teasing everyone in DeVos Fieldhouse, going to Thomas Moore for their offensive possession.
Taylor Ware brings the ball up the court, passes it outside. Nice pass down low, and they kick it back to the top. And Mitchell's three-point attempt is up and good. So Thomas More with the largest lead of the evening, 19-10.
Going in, a quick response from Baldwin Wallace, but they're going to need a few more points to get closer to Thomas More Saints.
Kayla Weir, of course, wearing the knee brace on her left knee. Perhaps fading a little bit. Good to see her able to get out here and compete.
A little bit of a struggle near the court.
And we'll get another jump ball. It's the third one in the past maybe really 3 minutes. Signs of both teams being aggressive.
Yeah, I think those are telltale signs that teams are willing to put their life and limb out there. Getting a look at the nice replay there. Big thank you to the media crew down in the control room.
And Mitchell's runner is up and good, 21-12. Baldwin Wallace brings the ball up the floor. Nice little dribble drive. And it is knocked out of bounds by Shelby Rupp, the senior forward from Milan, Indiana.
Now, you mentioned Emily Schultz's knee brace. This past year, the offensive line, I play football on Hope's team. We all got knee braces, and boy, those were tough to adjust to, just for a preventative standpoint of the athletic training. So, very interesting.
Do anything you can to keep yourself healthy and stay out there.
Oh yeah, I've been very blessed to not have any major injuries. I have to credit that to my guardian angel and not to brag, but my technical skill on the field. The right technique can prevent injury.
Nice little ball fake, and the three-point attempt by Casey Hughes, the junior guard, is up and good.
Of course, speaking of good technique, that was a great shot from Hughes.
Clock under 10, the shot clock turned off. Ware with it now, backing in, 2 seconds remaining, and the ball eludes her grasp. And that is the end of the first quarter. Thomas More up 21-15. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this with a quick message from our sponsors, Lawrence and Vandersworth.
At Lawrence and Vandersworth, we're interested in the history of our community. When 26-year-old jeweler Jacob Raven came to Holland in 1889, the northwest corner of 8th Street and River Avenue was already home to the thriving Holland City State Bank. Raven told bank personnel that he wanted to build a clock above the bank to keep the town on time, and it wouldn't cost them a cent. True to his word, Raven raised the funds with donations from merchants and local factories. High above the city streets, the tower was completed in 1892. Holland's clock tower still ticks high above 8th Street, watching over a town that still loves to run on time. Innovation and ambition today can pay dividends for decades. Lawrence and Vandersworth, interested in our history, invested in our future.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back inside DeVos Fieldhouse. Bergeron Crispin alongside Bryce Robinson making his debut, but just from listening to him, you think he's a savvy veteran doing a great job.
Oh, you flatter me so.
I do what I can.
Blush coming out of my beard.
20. They do call him Big Red on campus. 21-15, the Thomas More lead. Baldwin trying to get some points there. Shot falls in and out.
Riley Schill trying to harass the Thomas More player, bringing into the offensive set.
Kind of unconventional shot there from Kayla Sainer. And Baldwin regains control.
An aggressive grab from Mary Shetner there onto Harry Marshall. Kara Marshall, pardon me on that one.
And the shot rejected by Emily Schultz, the junior forward, 6 feet from Melbourne, Kentucky. We'll take a look at the replay here. Clean strip there, ball goes out of bounds. It'll go to the Yellow Jackets of Baldwin Wallace.
These girls are tough. I will mention, though there hasn't been much physicality in this game, they handle it like it's business as usual. So glad to see that in the game of basketball.
And you expect nothing less from 2 undefeated teams as well.
Of course.
Deflection corralled by the Yellow Jackets. Shot clock at 5. And stripped by Ware.
Seems as if she tripped on something or lost her footing there, but now Thomas More on their offensive set.
Nice little pass down low is good for Shelby Rupp from Milan, Indiana. 23-15, the Thomas More lead early out in quarter number 2 of game 1 of the post-exam jam. We're so glad to have exams done.
Of course.
It feels nice to have that done and out of the way. We can look forward to a chaotic second semester.
Oh, yeah.
Good to enjoy some basketball right now.
Yeah, it's nice to sit down and enjoy some basketball after that line of exams. I do really enjoy the name. Kudos to those who came up with the
Post-exam jam. Ware, top of the key, looking for space. Dribble drives, kicks out to Sainer. And she drains it from downtown. 26-15.
Someone call a plumber.
Nice outlet pass. And Kayla Marshall sinks it, 26-17. Yeah, it's a nice job of stretching the floor. I think this is one of the ways that this Yellow Jacket team of Baldwin Wallace is going to have to be successful. Is they're going to have to win in the transition game. They're having a hard time in their set offense.
Yeah, I don't want to assume, but I feel like Thomas More is getting somewhat comfortable with your lead, and they have to be quick on the defense because the Baldwin Wallace is looking to really pounce on those opportunities where the defense is slow to.
And that's a nice spin move by Emily Schultz as the shot clock neared double zeros, and I think winning in the transition game is kind of that third phase of the game, like in football, special teams, the third phase of the game, kind of the tip of the spear there. One of those unsung, kind of forgotten parts of the game that is so crucial and important to two undefeated teams, really, that may see each other again if they draw each other in the tournament. And number 12, Riley Skill, the junior guard from Sheffield Village, Ohio, sinks the tray, keeping the lead within 8.
I'm glad you mentioned special teams. Hope's team really does emphasize special teams. This isn't a place to put, the backups. Our coach, Coach Lapchak with the special teams, really wants people that want to be on the special teams. He calls them the special forces, to honor the armed forces. We do a special thing at the end of the first quarter to honor veterans. But, special teams truly is the special forces of your unit.
6:39 remaining in the second quarter, 28-20, the Thomas More lead. And the shot is blocked. A scramble for the ball.
She'll trying to separate herself from some defenders there. The defenders trying to press that attack.
The shot clock nears double zeros. Can they get the shot up? And is no good, is rejected. Thomas More regains possession. Bryce, we've seen this almost on really the past 3 possessions by Baldwin Wallace. They've really had no time left on the clock. Every one of their offensive possessions has come with the shot clock winding down.
Yeah, it seems like Baldwin Wallace is really pressed to, not only do they feel the pressure of needing to score, but also the Thomas More defense is really effective, putting pressure on Baldwin Wallace.
And the foul on number 2, Emily Lyon for Baldwin Wallace, as Temple takes a chip to the charity stripe. 29-20.
Though Temple's only been there twice, she has been very consistent with her free throws. Being a football player, my main issue with basketball is getting the ball through the hoop. So I really
kind of important in the game of basketball.
Yeah, it's the medium in which you score.
That's why I retired in middle school. Because there are people that can do it better than me.
Oh yeah, I wrestled in high school, so that
there you go.
Oh yeah.
30-20.
Dropping the ball.
Fancy footwork almost leads to a backcourt violation. And a nice drive by the Yellow Jackets, number 21, Mary Shentor. Will head to the free throw line. First shot attempt clangs off the back of the rim and no good. 1 shot remaining. Take a look at the replay here. Thomas More going for the strip, but they end up drawing contact, but it's to no harm done as Shentor misses both free throws.
Rachel Wimmeldorf hitting the ground there after that rebound for the free throw. And
Foul on number 3, Mackenzie Matthews. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No worries at all. You know, it's important to score off of those free throws. Those are essentially 3 points. You know, I just mentioned that I can't make a basket to save my life, but you know, these girls are playing at a higher level, and it's important to score on those points. But, you know, there are a lot of factors that go into it, and as an athlete, you have to deal with that.
3-point attempt is up and no good. Rebounded by Juliana Howard, the sophomore guard from Westchester, Ohio.
And Baldwin Wallace did look a little more collected on that offensive set, but they just need to execute and follow through and score.
Temple down low is rejected. Somebody called the SWAT team, and we'll get a foul call, or jump ball down low, excuse me.
Temple trying to seal the ball from that one. I like the aggression, but refs did have to call it there.
And number 5, Tiffany Bentler, sends an early invitation to the block party. No RSVP necessary. 32-20, 12-point lead for Thomas More. Both teams coming in undefeated, as mentioned at the beginning of the contest. The inbounds pass is tipped and corralled by the Yellow Jackets. Shentor brings it up.
Shentor to Gabby Garrett, sophomore from Columbus, Ohio, from Bishop Watterson High School.
And the layup attempt is no good by Tiffany Bentler.
Collected by Kayla Sanner and Thompson. Excuse me, Temple.
And we're going to get a blocking foul and instead of a charge. Thomas More bench wanted.
You know, I think that is the right call. You know, just from my position at least, Juliana Howard did kind of plant her feet a little preemptively, but of course, you know, the aggression, the contact isn't, you know, out of spite. You know, it's made from the skill and you know, the drive of both these sports. I don't think that this, looking at the replay there, yeah.
Called it area, the restricted area. You can't set up in the restricted area. Feet were moving, so no charge called. Howard brings the ball up the court for the Saints of Thomas More.
But yes, these girls are very tough, you know. Again, the contact in them is business as usual as both undefeated teams, you know. It's necessary to have that kind of physical and mental toughness.
Nice little give and go action there. Ball goes out of bounds. Thomas More will inbound. Howard on the baseline is tipped. Temple spins. Shot is up and no good. Shentor looking for room. Pass is swung on the outside.
Casey Hughes goes up for the shot, but is stopped by the refs. Whistle.
And we're going to get a blocking foul on number 10, Lucy Kerrigan, the freshman from Rising Sun, Indiana.
Surprising, yeah, again, surprising. Only 5 total fouls from both teams. Taking a look at the replay here. But yeah, it is quite surprising. You know, there is another level of discipline that you get from undefeated teams. So.
And Casey Hughes has nowhere to go with the ball, so instead of taking a 5-second violation, she'll throw it off the leg of Howard. Smart basketball right there.
Oh yeah, if you can block it, you gotta use everything you've got. So.
Or just throw it off the opposing player and do it again. Baldwin Wallace 2 inbounds. Gabby Garrett with it, dumps it down low. And Kelly Clapper, the senior, is fouled, so she'll head to the charity stripe.
Clapper, the senior from Newark, Ohio, and Newark Catholic High School.
The foul on Madison Temple, the senior. And the shot rims out, and no good. 32-20, still 12-point lead. Here's your fun fact of the day. The post-exam sports, 2 of the highest scoring teams in NCAA Division III. Hope is ranked 7th at 85.2 points per game, while Thomas More is ranked 2nd at 88.5 points per game. So Thomas More, a high-scoring team, really only putting up 32 so far. Tons of basketball to go, but not putting up as high numbers as they have really all season, but it's testament to a good defense by Baldwin Wallace. Shot clock reaches 4.
Indeed, Thomas Moore's high scoring is truly a testament to their prominent offense, at least in this game that I've seen. You know, not to discredit Thomas Moore's defense, but it seems as if their offense seems to be the star of the show in this game.
Kayla Sainer is fouled on her attempt on a little floater. She nails the first free throw. The foul was on Gabby Garrett, the sophomore guard from Columbus.
And coming in for Thomas More is Shelby Rupp, the sophomore from Milan, Indiana.
And the second shot attempt is up and good. The lead now 13. Nice little behind the back action. Was that the circle button on the Xbox, or is that the triangle?
I don't think the Xbox has the triangle.
They don't see. I don't know my sports games, but a video game-like move from the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, very good show of skill from Baldwin Wallace.
And the ill-advised pass leads to a turnover for the Jackets. Temple dribbles with it now, top of the key, hands it down low. A nice lay off the glass for Shelby Rupp, the senior. And we'll get a substitution.
3:03 left in the second quarter.
That is her second.
With Thomas More up 36 to Baldwin Wallace's 21.
Thomas More foul on Kelly Clapper. So the bonus, so the Yellow Jackets will head to the line to shoot a pair. Coming to the game, number 24, Sydney Diedrich, excuse me.
Diedrich, the sophomore from Chardon, Ohio. And the shot is good. Temple to Sander, back to Temple. Temple will start the offensive set for the Saints.
Just under 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Temple with it now. Dribble drive, kicks out. Three-point attempt is up and good by Kelly Clapper. Kelly Clapper with 5 points on the afternoon. Three-point attempt is good, nothing but net. Sydney Snyder, the freshman from Kirtland, Ohio.
Be careful, that girl has got quite the mortar for an arm. 26-39. Temple with the ball. It's always dangerous when she's got it in the offensive set.
And Saner's catching fire as we near the end of the first half. She has 11 points now.
And we've got a 2-minute rush coming in from both teams, it seems.
Kind of like your 2-minute offense.
Oh, tell me about it. Those drills are...
I opened up a door.
Oh, yeah. No, you know, the 2-minute, especially the 2018 season, the 2-minute drill has really been important for us to get important points.
Ball Wallace, 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Shot is up and no good. Finds
not quite
nothing.
The distance.
Misses and it misses everything. Sainer feeling it, dribble drive, kicks out, and we're gonna get a blocking foul. Nice take by Sainer. And the foul is gonna be on Baldwin Wallace, number 20, Sydney Snyder, her first. 1:19 remaining. So Bryce, now Thomas More kind of creating some distance, up 42-26. What do you think they've really done successfully in the first half to kind of create this distance that they have going into the end of the half?
You know, they're really good at breaking down defenses. They do it in a very timely manner, so it doesn't seem as if they're running out of time on the shot clock. So just breaking down that defense and creating gaps to score is really a great part of their offense. And their defense has been doing a great job holding off the Baldwin Wallace offense. Both elements are very skillful, but the Saints have really just been pulling through and executing. more so than that of Baldwin Wallace.
And as you said that, Emily Schultz scored underneath, breaking down the defense. Under a minute remaining. 10 seconds now on the shot clock. And the three-point attempt is blocked by Sainer. As she hits the scores table. And an and one for Issa Mitchell,
Very
freshman guard from Kenton County. Sequence of events there, a great hustle play.
You want to be in the action? Come and announce. No? Very unexpected, a very high-octane sequence of events, really showing off the...
I'm going to get a 30-second timeout, which means we'll stay here. Take a look at the replay. Nice job by Mitchell, delaying a little bit, drawing the contact, going up, getting the foul, and the and one. High percentage shot.
It's really unfortunate that, I don't see such a full crowd in women's basketball as I do with men's, but, the women's basketball seems to be a little bit more skillful than that of the men's. I personally enjoy women's more than men's, but, I think if you want to get your money's worth of the price of admission, I think that play alone will really do it for you.
Yeah, great effort of play, keeping the ball inbounds. So Mitchell will try and complete the three-point play. 46-26, 40.2 seconds remaining in the first half from DeVos Fieldhouse. Bergeron Crispin alongside Bryce Robinson as the shot is up and good. About a 10-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Yellow Jackets trying to score before they head into the locker room to try and talk things over. Trying to keep their unbeaten season alive.
Again, as I mentioned before, it's unfortunate, but fortunately one team will be falling tonight. So
it's the nature of the game.
Someone's perfect record is going to have a small blemish on it.
Temple's pass down low is good for Emily Schultz. And that'll be the end of the first half. 49-28. Started out pretty close, and Thomas More kind of disses themselves. Great shooting, great defensive effort. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with second half action. Bergeron Crispin alongside Bryce Robinson. Stay tuned for more basketball. Game number one of the post-exam jam, and we'll be back.
At Lawrence and Vanderswart, we're interested in the history of our community. This farm once belonged to Albertus Van Ralte, founding father of the city of Holland. And this house, built by his son Ben in 1872, has been known through the years as the Maples, due to the large trees in the front yard planted by Van Ralte himself. These trees stand today because of the industry and vision of Albertus Van Ralte. Today, the DeGraff Nature Center taps the maples and demonstrates how maple syrup was made centuries ago. Innovation and ambition today can pay dividends for decades. Lawrence and Vanderswart, interested in our history, invested in our future.
here are your individual scoring stats in the first half. First for Baldwin Wallace. Number 13, Karen Marshall with 2 points. Number 24, Cindy Diedrich with 2 points. Number 21, Mary Shunter with 3 points. Number 20, Sydney Snyder with 3 points. Number 3, Mackenzie Matthews with 3 points. Number 4, Casey Hughes with 3 points. Number 22, Rachel Wamendorf with 4 points. And team high honors to number 12, Riley Schill, leading the way for the Yellow Jackets in the first half with 8 points. For Thomas More, number 23, Shelby Rupp with 4 points. Number 12, Kelly Clapper with 5 points. Number 31, Emily Schultz with 6 points. Number 20, Kayla Singer with 11 points. Number 13, Asia Mitchell with 11 points. And team and game high honors to number 24, Madison Temple, leading the way for the Saints in the first half with 12 points.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to DeVos Fieldhouse. Here, the second half of the post-exam jam. We have Thomas More Saints versus the Baldwin Wallace Jackets coming at you with the third quarter, coming back from halftime. I'm with Brajan Crispin. How was your halftime, bud?
I was busy. It's running around. It's good stuff, though.
Excellent.
Getting some waters for the one and only Matt Roblin. Matt, giving you a shout-out. Thanks for directing our show tonight.
Big shout-out to the...
great to have you. The one and only Steve, Allen, and the rest of the crew. Big thank you. So we take you back to action. Baldwin Wallace with possession now. And Bryce, what do you think their keys to the game are going to be as they try and cut into this lead?
I think for Thomas More, it has to. They can't get complacent. They can't get happy and comfortable with their lead. They have to always press to be better, to amp up that score. And for Baldwin Wallace, it's going to be effort and willpower to stay in the game, not get discouraged, and maybe even close the gap, maybe even surpassing Thomas More. But I don't foresee that. But effort and spirit of the game is important for Baldwin Wallace to stay in the competition. Absolutely
right. Effort's going to be key, and we see effort there from number 23, Shelby Rupp. Doesn't get the bucket to go, however. The lead is 19 for Thomas More. Shot is up and good for number 4, Casey Hughes. And as we were walking through the tunnel, we heard head coach for Baldwin Wallace, Sherry Hare, kind of lighting up her players, and maybe this is how they're responding, saying, hey, we can knock down some threes, get some defensive stops, and maybe string together a comeback. Yeah, it's an important role of a coach to inspire, to get the blood flowing for your team. And so I don't think it was an inappropriate use from the coach. And just as we talk about cutting into the lead, we get an and one foul on number 1 for Baldwin Wallace. There's no number 1 on the roster, so number 2, I believe, Emily Lyon. Yes. The one shot is good. And Emily Schultz completes, as you said, Bryce, the 3-point play. 52-33. The Thomas More lead. Float pass down low. Defect to Marshall. Good. There you go, good. Marshall to Wentworth, and is knocked out of bounds by Madison Temple. Temple really has been a leader for the Saints, and that is a small mistake, and you can't beat yourself over it. But things in the game happen. And that is the second foul for Madison Temple. Giving a little extra necessary shove there on the pass. Just a bit, but it never hurt anyone. Can you not do that in the beginning of basketball? You can't shove a little bit? Oh. I'm sure you're used to it, as a lineman, Oh, yeah. Little extra contact. Going back to my wrestling days, during the winter break, we'd still do workouts and, wrestling practice. And so part of conditioning is that we'd all separate into teams and play basketball. And, oh, boy, was it physical with the wrestling guys. So, maybe my version of basketball is different from that of the NCAA. But and the foul goes against Shelby Rupp, Thomas More Saints. And a fresh shot clock. And another foul on number 20 of the Thomas More Saints, Kayla Sainer. So back-to-back fouls. Fresh shot clock again. Baldwin Wallace trying to inbound here. I worry about Wallace again feeling pressure to score in this situation. Looking at the faces of some of the Baldwin women, there is a little bit of a sense of franticness, but I feel as the game goes on and as they inspire confidence, they themselves will get more confident in scoring. Unfortunately, not in this drive as Temple brings it across the line. And responding to adversity is going to be huge. I mean, this team is undefeated. They probably haven't faced anything like this before this season. They've used to being in the driver's seat and winning these games. Now all of a sudden they find themselves down almost 19 points. And going back to my point in the first half about Hope's game against Finlandia upcoming soon in nearly an hour. Bit of a scramble on the court there. But, this game may be an example to both Baldwin Wallace and Thomas More of what separates a
good team from a great team. And, you know, Baldwin Wallace, looking back on the film, will be able to detract that, you know, what makes them good and what makes Thomas More a great team. A little extracurricular there against Temple coming from Baldwin Wallace.
It's going to be the foul, number 22, Rachel Waldemorf, the senior forward from Lewis Center, Ohio. And Temple heads to the charity stripe. Temple with 12 on the night. Make it 13. Take a look at the replay here. Nice drive by Temple. Goes up and draws contact.
And Wambledorf, the player from Baldwin Wallace, who is the offender of the foul. Interesting name of a high school, Olentangy High School, out of Lewis Center, Ohio. You know, not every day you hear Olentangy. So,
is that not where you went to high school?
No, unfortunately not. No.
Saner's three-point attempt is up and no good. Rebounded by Shentor. She tries to push the floor.
A very quick rush as compared to the other.
And we'll get a hand check foul. Number 31, Emily Schultz.
That was the right call there. Fortunately, Schultz getting a little overzealous in the defense, but you know, sometimes acts of passion don't hurt too much.
And that is her first foul.
You know, and I do see that with both teams. You know, both of these girls, you know, love to play the game of basketball, and that, you know, that's really what the spirit of the game's all about. Getting a little philosophical, but
there you go. Gotta love it. 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Three-point attempt clangs off the front of the room, and we'll get another foul call.
Once again, Baldwin Wallace putting life and limb out there on the court in the spirit of the game.
And Thomas More foul at number 23. That is number 23, Shelby Rupp. And Baldwin Wallace is in the bonus already. I think it's the earliest I've seen a team in the bonus. Still over 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The first shot is up and good. And this is going to be key as we get down into the stretch. Anytime Baldwin Wallace is fouled, you can see the replay here. Given a hand check by Shelby Rupp. Anytime Baldwin Wallace gets fouled, they're going to head to the free throw line, chance for points. So it's going to be really important, like you touched on, Bryce, earlier on, to capitalize on your free throws.
Indeed, and you know, this is compared to the second half, this has been, you know, a high number of fouls. Surprisingly, 2 fouls in how many minutes? About 2.
Yeah.
So going on this route, we may see, you know, the second half may get a little bit more desperate plays from each teams.
We're going to get a hand check foul, number 21, Mary Shentor, the junior guard, the 5'9" from Broadview Heights, Ohio. Fans, make sure to stay tuned for this evening's matchup. Hope College undefeated taking on Finlandia. Finlandia, a new associate member of the MIAA.
Indeed, yeah. You know, most of their athletics are in a very young, maybe even infantile stage, you know, playing against them. Yeah, rebuilding, building a program. You know, it's important to, you know, start with good habits rather than to try and get rid of bad ones.
And it's also good to see Finlandia coming to this tournament. Really not expected to do a whole lot, sitting at 0-9, bottom of the conference, but it's a good test for them. Good to get their toe in the water, as you little analogy there, and kind of see what this conference is all about and get their girls out there to compete. 2 seconds remaining on the shot clock. The shot is up, and it misses everything. 24-second shot clock, 30-second, excuse me, shot clock violation.
Once again, Baldwin Wallace, you know, is relapsing back to the first half. They're feeling very pressured to score, and that's resulting in both from the good defense that the Saints have put on, and the pressure has led to a delay in attempt to score, and that's definitely not working in Baldwin Wallace's favor.
Baldwin Wallace number 5, Tiffany Bentler, the junior guard from North Canton, Ohio, home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We're on the charity stripe. First attempt barely grazes the rim and no good.
we were going to see the replay. The ball's up, but again, a lot of contact. Ooh, Schultz shooting the ball back. And the Saints are backing into an offensive set after the free throw.
Good second chance points opportunity for Thomas More. See if they can do anything with it. 15 ticks remaining on the shot clock. Errant pass sails out of bounds, and Baldwin Wallace will regain possession.
A bit of an overthrown pass from Kelly Clapper to Shia Mitchell, but as to be expected when things get closer to the line. I feel like now even the Saints may be feeling pressure from Baldwin Wallace. Now in this situation, there may be a change of faltering in the feeling of the game.
Faltering in the feeling of the game. Great alliteration there by Bryce Robinson. Doing it all, the one-man show. As you heard earlier before the game, beautiful rendition of the national anthem, Doing America, and all of those who served a great honor.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, for those that don't know, I also play the football player here at Hope, and I'm also a member of the chapel choir, the advanced vocal group here on campus. I do have a large background in singing and athletics, and lots of contact and bodies hitting the floor there.
And Brianna McNutt from Thomas More had an open lane, couldn't do anything with it, and then she goes ahead and fouls. So Madison Temple looking to check back into the game for the Knights of Thomas More. 56-37. 4 minutes and change remaining in the third quarter. Gabby Garrett on the line. First shot attempt is no good.
Coming in for the Thomas More Saints is the senior Shelby Rupp, and coming in for the Yellow Jackets is number 24 Sydney Dietrich, the sophomore from Chardon, Ohio.
Second shot attempt is up and good. Michaela Ware brings the ball up the court for the Saints. Ball goes Temple, swings.
Jackets setting up a defense, looking for defenders.
Some great ball movement we're seeing.
A rapid yet controlled movement of the ball throughout the court. Fortunately, that one won't go up for the Saints. It was a scramble on the ground. And now back to the Yellow Jackets. Large contact from number 13, Ashaya Mitchell.
And she gets it to go. Sydney Dietrich with the and one. Great job of staying concentrated and maintaining possession, laying the ball off the top of the glass. And she'll head to the charity stripe to try and complete the three-point play.
Excellent. Can I get a receipt for that to-go order? Says the Yellow Jackets.
I've never heard that one before. That's a good one. Let's take a look at the replay here. Great job being concentrated, getting the ball up into the back of the net, and the three-point play is no good. 56-40, the lead 16 for Thomas More. Temple kicks out to up top of the key. Temple looks for it down low. That's what these teams do. They have high percentage shots. They move the ball around and take quality shots that they know they can make statistically. And we're going to get a 30-second timeout by Thomas More, which means we'll keep it here. And Bryce, you saw Baldwin Wallace start out hitting a couple threes, and you thought maybe they would get back into this. Thomas More has extended the lead to 18. What have you seen from this Thomas More team as of late?
Thomas More really has a leader in Madison Temple, the senior. Whenever she gets the ball in the offensive set, it is dangerous, and the Yellow Jackets are really going to have to, target. And I say that lightly. I mean, look to her and, defend her and keep the ball away from Thomas. But unless that happens, I see her just continuing to score over and over again on the Baldwin Wallace defense.
Thomas More, of course, undefeated, sitting at 11-0. Coached by Jeff Hands, his 8th season at the helm, so some leadership with the program. Just above 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Wallace trying to show off some handling skills, but will lose the ball.
Good defense there by Michaela Ware, yeah, like you said.
Very much so.
So no matter the lead, staying relentless on defense is key, keeping your foot on the gas. And
you know, interrupting the process for the offense is really important in any form of defense. In sports in general, especially basketball. Once you get into a rhythm with the ball and your footwork, once something interrupts that, you know, it really does send a negative. Your body responds negatively to that.
And that's another shot clock violation by the Yellow Jackets. Unable to get a shot off, and I think that's a testament to that defense that we're talking about. The lead 18, 2 minutes and change remaining. Thomas More trying to keep pouring in points.
The Saints defense looking more and more like the Great Wall of China. Can't quite get through.
Temple with a nice give and go. Ball goes out of bounds.
And forgive me for my historical parallels, but the Baldwin Wallace defense looking more like the Maginot line every time the Saints get.
I'm not familiar with the Maginot.
The Maginot line was the defensive fortifications with France and Belgium set up after the First World War. Unfortunately, German armor penetrated the Ardennes forest, where no other tank division had done before. Forgive me, that's my history minor showing out.
There you go. We love it. The man can do it all. Fantastic knowledge for you, folks. You didn't think you'd be learning something like that today, and you are. Bryce Robinson, a jack of all trades, should we say.
A little bit of a warrior poet. You know, you got
a warrior poet.
Yeah, the athleticism and the arts, you know, combining the two.
58-40. Sainer getting ready to check back in for the Saints with Thomas More. Temple.
Look out, Temple's got the ball. Be careful.
She tries to go between the legs. Picks up her dropped ball.
At least she cleans up her own mistakes. So
there you go.
See that.
Michaela Ware swings it off to Temple. 5 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Backs in and lays it off the glass for two. Nice job of staying disciplined on offense and creating space and doing what players do. They make big plays. Big-time players making big-time plays. Can expect nothing less from the senior.
You know, to commend both teams in these, these sticky situations in offense. Both teams really do have a focus, you know, in their connection from the ball to the basket. You know, keeping that focus is definitely hard, and I'd like to commend both teams on that. Temple up, pull up,
and it'll be a loose ball foul on Shelby Rupp, the senior forward, 6'2", from Batesville High School in Indiana. 48.4 seconds remaining. The lead now, 20. And this is the 10th post-exam jam, Bryce. The tournament has been hosted annually by the Flying Dutch since 2009. Hope is unbeaten, 17-0.
Excellent.
So
well,
there you go.
Hoping to make it 18-0 coming up in a little under an hour when the Hope College Flying Dutchmen will take on Finlandia's Lions.
Casey Hughes on the line for the Yellow Jackets. Shot is up and good.
Almost intercepted by the Yellow Jackets, but unfortunately slipped out of bounds.
That was a good defensive effort.
Very much so, yeah.
By Mackenzie Matthews, senior guard.
Somewhat unexpected from this, the current chain of events with the Baldwin defense.
Kayla Ware leading the offense. Temple kicks back to Ware. Ware drops it down to Schultz, who kicks it up to Sainer. Sainer from way downtown, base of the acre, sinks the three.
Sainer definitely pulled up, as they say on that one. Definitely a show of skill from the Saints.
Shot clock turned off, 15 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Baldwin Wallace looking to hold on for the last shot. 63-41. 5 seconds remaining. Down low, and it is we're going to get a jump ball call, and it'll be Thomas More possession. It's kind of a weird sequence of events there.
Very strange. I think the Yellow Jackets will be pressed very hard to score this. And unfortunately they won't.
And the buzzer beater attempt hits the front of the rim. 63-41, Thomas More on top. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back after this.
At Lawrence at Vanderswart, we are interested in the history of our community. In 1851, Holland's founder Albertus Van Raalte wanted to establish a secondary school where students could get the best education with an emphasis on Christian character. Originally called Pioneer School, Van Raalte set up classes in an orphanage on 12th Street. By 1857, the new Van Vleck Hall was completed. It provided classrooms, a library, and housing for 10 students, along with the school principal. In 1862, the school was renamed Hope College, and the first graduating class received their diplomas in the spring of 1866. Innovation and ambition today can pay dividends for decades. Lawrence and Vanderswart, interested in our history, invested in our future.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Voss Fieldhouse, the third quarter of competition between the Thomas More Saints and the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets. I'm here with Brajan Crispin. Now, Brajan, this has been an interesting turning of events for both teams. We've seen increasing efforts from both teams to secure a victory. Is there anything that you see from Baldwin Wallace that could, really show out to improve their position in this game?
Well, I think they've had success with the three-point shot early on, and I think they kind of strayed from that. And I think if they get back to three-point attempt, number 23, I believe, for Baldwin Wallace, Megan Hansel, the freshman, getting up gingerly. Hope she's okay. She exits the game.
Do wish her well, but I do have confidence that she'll be all right.
Sainer left alone, pop-and shot for three, and she knocks it down. Sainer was 17 on the day. She now ties Temple for the leading scorer. Trying to exchange threes, and that is up and no good.
Up and off the rim for Baldwin. Don't want to call it, but you may have cursed them with the three-pointer, but
it's called the commentator's curse.
Yes.
And the ball goes out of bounds and will stay with the Saints.
Getting up close and personal with camera 3 over there.
There you go.
Setting up the play. Temple with the ball will be putting it into play.
Temple far side, swings over to Ware. Ware looks for space.
Definitely getting the a serious defense from Baldwin right now, putting pressure on.
And I think you need to.
Saints.
Shot clock at 1. Shot clock violation rebounded by Temple. She goes up and fouled, so not phased by the buzzer. Good second chance opportunity, and she'll head to the charity stripe.
Once again, a good focus on the basket. And, knowing your relationship with the ball, your body, and the basket is, quite important in basketball. And Temple has really been showing that off in these 3 quarters so far.
And as Temple sits at the charity stripe, some third quarter stats for you. Thomas More shooting 35.7% from the field and 25% from three-point range. Baldwin Wallace, and meanwhile, shooting a measly 36.4% from the field and 33% from three-point range. So those numbers need to drastically increase if they want a shot. of coming back into this game. And we'll get a traveling violation. Thomas More ball.
Yeah, I think it is important for Baldwin Wallace to stay in the game, as to, you know, keep their effort at 100% and even more to, you know, if it won't be a victory, it's important to, you know, develop your skill, no matter, you know, how far behind or how far ahead you are in the game.
Shentor the rebound for the Yellow Jackets, trying to create some magic. Nice pass down low.
Once again, that Thomas More defense is really effective.
I mean, you see Baldwin Wallace getting inside, but they just can't capitalize. And Thomas More is a little bit of a taller team. Having a bigger presence down low certainly helps when you're trying to drive, get some inside penetration.
It's pretty even when it comes to size and speed. You know, in games like these, it comes down to skill and the willpower that really decides the game. And so far, appears to be the Thomas More Saints that are, you know, in the lead in that sector.
Brianna McNutt checks back into the game, the sophomore guard. Shentor from the top, and she nails the tray. 68-44. McNutt looking for space, gives it off to Sellers. Sellers looks for Ware. Ware goes down to Temple. Temple swings out, lots of ball movement.
Pulling up, but won't make it. Bit of a struggle for the rebound there between a Yellow Jacket and a Saint.
And Schultz doing a good job of staying aggressive. 68-44. The Yellow Jacket coach trying to cheer on our players, trying to instill some momentum and desire in them with just over 7 minutes remaining.
She was calling to get a stop, and her wish comes true as Baldwin Wallace does come away with the ball, but unfortunately can't capitalize and score. And the Thomas More Saints will come across the line again for an offensive set.
And Temple drives hard in the lane and picks up the foul. The foul will be on Riley Schill. Riley Schill, excuse me.
Team's second.
Excellent replay there. Thank you to all the media crew here on the court and in the control room. Thank you so much, guys. Couldn't do it without you.
And as Temple, again, is at the free throw line, take some time to let you know that now you can go to YouTube and look up the Dutch Angle, Hope's very own talk show, akin to, Bryce, you would say, the Tonight Show or Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
That is now live on YouTube. Again, check out the Dutch Angle with your host, Brajan Crispin and Madison Miron, as we interview the Voskels. And Bryce is also our announcer for that show. Future shows to come, second semester, featuring the mayor of Holland, Nancy DeBoer, some great professors, President-elect Matthew Scogan and his family for a very special Valentine's Day special of the Dutch Angle, broadcasting live from the Martha Miller studio. Make sure to follow us on social media and to check out the Dutch Angle on YouTube. Be great if you go and check that out as we take you back to play. Temple scores and puts her at 23 for the afternoon.
Oh yeah, you know, I had a lot of fun doing that show, and I can't wait for more shows to come. You know, part of the experience too, if you are on Hope's campus, whether you're a student or a member of the community, to come to the Martha Miller studio and be a part of the live audience. You know, we have a great time interacting with you all. Bit of a scrim for the ball there, and Baldwin Wallace will collect. But yeah, go ahead and check out. It's got yours truly, Brajan and Bryce. But you know, the main part of the show, Brajan and Madison.
And Temple draws the foul. That'll go against Tiffany Bentler.
Baldwin Wallace fouls on number 5, Tiffany. Team's third.
5:54 remaining. Bentler at the line, 72-44. some subs getting some playing time. Good to see some players who really don't get a whole lot of playing time come into the game and get some experience. Beautiful facility like this, it's great to see them get some experience out on the floor.
Very much so. You know, I had the opportunity to play against Finlandia in football. You know, being a sophomore, I'm not that high on the depth chart, but it was a great opportunity to have my my first college football plays on the Howard football field on Hope's campus.
That's the nice thing about being a broadcaster. You're always #1 on the depth chart. Don't have to worry about competition or playing time. Retired many years ago to the happiness of everyone that watches football for Hope College. 74-44 the lead, now 30. It is Lucy Kerrigan, the freshman from Rising Sun, Indiana. Hands it off to Sellers. Sellers' shot up is, I don't know if that was a pass or an air ball, but either way, it's Baldwin Wallace ball. Garrett drives. Nice little scoop and score. She lays it off the glass for 2.
Finally good to see Baldwin Wallace, you know, back in this game, breaking that streak of unsuccessful offensive sets. So I don't want to call that they're back in the game, but exciting to see them score again, let them know that there's life still in them.
And we're going to get a rare double dribble call. At the game of basketball, Bryce, you can't dribble the ball more than once. Or you can't pick it up and then keep dribbling. You can obviously dribble more than once.
You know, being a football guy myself, you know, football, baseball, wrestling. You know, it's always great to learn more about the sport of basketball, and I think my, you know, experience in the control room has helped with that. Excellent steal, but can't follow through. The Saints are going to look to score on this offensive set with their opportunity in the steal.
Sellers from downtown rims out, no good, rebounded by the Yellow Jackets of Baldwin Wallace.
Unfortunately getting lost in those weird one-way streets in downtown Holland. But
those are, and then another steal.
Chasing the ball
by Kelly Clapper.
Clapper up for
nice
it.
Little move, and again she can't capitalize on the steal.
Can't quite get the layup.
Visible frustration.
She was really close to the basket there. Usually it's optimal to have somewhat of a distance between yourself and the basket. Quite the pass, and she makes it to fellow Yellow Jack, and back to her for the layup, but can't quite get it through. That was quite exciting in my opinion.
So a little bit of undisciplined basketball. Trying to figure out the kinks a little bit. There you go.
A little unorthodox.
74-46, 3 minutes and change remaining. So pending an improbable comeback, Baldwin Wallace drops to 8-1. Thomas More, meanwhile, as Sellers gets the nice roll shot to go, Thomas More improves to 12-0.
You know, mentioning Sellers, you know that we are seeing a very admirable performance from the young players on the Saints. Gonna let that one go out of bound from the Yellow Jackets.
And Thomas More will sub in their younger players to get them some playing time. It's a classy move by Coach Hans, his 8th season at the helm for the Saints.
Coming in for the Saints is freshman Heaven Evans. We have, pardon me as I look for these players, 33, Kylie Anderson, a sophomore, and sophomore Allison Rivian, number 44.
So Thomas Baldwin set to face the loser of tonight's matchup, featuring the Hope College undefeated Flying Dutch and the Finlandia Lions, who currently remain winless. And we'll get a foul on number 25, Heaven Evans. It's a great name.
Yeah, you know.
Almost as good as Bryce Robinson.
Oh, you flatter me too much.
I try. 30-point lead for Thomas More Saints. And Bryce, I was up at the concession stand earlier today. Something called the Michigander.
Oh, the Michigander.
You got to check this out.
Tell you what.
It's a bratwurst with onions, relish, and everything else on it. It's amazing.
You know, I'm a big brat guy. You know,
are you?
Oh yeah, and you know, much deeper than the surface level. You know, some cheddar bacon, some Polish potatoes, some Irish potato ones. The different there is.
So back home in Chicago, you can't. It's unworthy if you put ketchup on your hot dogs or bratwurst.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm somewhat of a traditionalist in that way. Is that, you know, I'm a pretty bare bones guy.
Yeah, you come to Chicago, you cannot put ketchup on your dog.
I'd be picked apart by those guys. Coach Dick will be.
There you go.
More
And
contact and bodies on the floor there.
Allison Gribben, the sophomore forward from Edgewood, Kentucky, Notre Dame Academy, goes out of bounds. It'll be an offensive foul, so Baldwin Wallace retains possession 2 minutes and 25 seconds. So, Bryce, I must say, complimenting you on your debut, you're natural behind the mic. Love to get you behind the mic more often.
Thank you.
Doing a great job.
I'd be definitely open to being on the mic more often than now, you know.
Phil, if you can hear us in the production room, take the hit. 2 minutes remaining, 76-48, the Baldwin Wallace lead.
Really.
And the shot misses everything and goes out of bounds.
Once again, we're getting back to that franticness that the Yellow Jackets are somewhat succumbing to.
Well, I also think it's because they're a young team, young players getting out there trying to figure out the kinks of really how to play basketball at this level. Maybe for the first time this season, seeing the floor. So, understandable by all means. I know I'd be nervous too.
It's very different to the high school days, you know.
And we'll get a whistle foul on number 3, Mackenzie Matthews, the senior guard.
Coaches from Baldwin Wallace telling their teammates to communicate. You know, it is very important to communicate. Not just I'm not selling a pitch as a communications major, but especially in athletics, you have to tell the team what you expect from them, and you have to set up plays, you know, and you have to use that with verbal communication. So
Matthew's shot misses everything, as the ball will go to Thomas More. Baldwin in a full court press, and it works to their advantage as they steal the ball. Mackenzie Matthews drives baseline, kicks out.
Evan Evans on the defense.
And Sydney Snyder, the freshman guard from Kirtland, Ohio, Kirtland High School, nails the three-point attempt. Got to feel good. 78-51.
Thomas More trying to slightly slow down the pace of play, but still pressing the attack with a score from number 4, Carolyn Bugdenberg.
I think it's Buddenberg.
Buddenberg. Pardon me, folks.
The freshman for Erlanger, Kentucky.
Apologize, that Buddenberg family.
That's going to be a foul on number 14, Megan Buckner, the freshman from Independence, Kentucky. Exactly 1 minute remaining on the clock, 80-51. And as mentioned, Hope College plays Finlandia just about an hour. Make sure to stay tuned for that. I will be on the call along with the wonderful Carly Van Swol. She'll be joining me in the booth. Great to have her as always.
Indeed, yeah.
Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Yellow Jackets of Baldwin Wallace.
Yeah, Heaven Evans trying to save the ball there. Kind of just using that as an excuse to say her name because it is really fun to say. You know?
And Matthews pulls up from way downtown, and she nails the three.
What a shot.
Nothing but net.
Plummer. She just sent it down the drain. Quite an issue if you've got a basketball in your drain. You know, I think you have more problems than just that of plumbing if you're able to fit one down there.
And right now, Baldwin's got 80 problems, but that's not one. Trying a little pop culture reference there. 80-54, the Thomas More lead. They'll improve to 12-0. And as some may think, as most people think, draw Hope College tomorrow night at 3 p.m., at 3 p.m., followed by the Hope College men taking on UW Platteville tomorrow. Should be a good game against a ranked opponent.
Yeah, it would be a great test to finally see if the men can overcome ranked teams, you know, test their skill against others that are, you know, backed by data, you know.
So Buddenberg will dribble this out. As the clock hits zeros, Thomas More improves to 12-0. Baldwin Wallace drops to 8-1, 80-56 the final score from DeVos. Stay tuned. We got a second game coming your way. I'm Rajon Crispin, joined by
Bryce Robinson.
Bryce, it's been a pleasure. Thank you as always, doing a great job.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. You know, I had a fun time for my first time on the mic, so I hope to do some more games in the future.
You heard him here first. Bryce Robinson alongside Rajon Crispin, 80-56, your final score. We'll be back with the second game tonight. Hope College taking on winless Finland, hoping to improve to 6-0 on the season. Thank you, and have a great night.